evening, hello, and welcome to season 2, episode 35 of the Big at the Back FPL podcast. My name is Tom, and I am joined by Matt. Matt, how are you?
How do you know it's evening when whoever's listening to this is listening to it?
We're recording in the evening, that will do.
Okay, close. I'll let you have it. I'm all right, thanks. Yep, it's another week in the books, and we've got a very quick turnaround going into game week 33. Less than 24 hours before the deadline as we're recording this. So, it's a tight turnaround. How are you? I know, obviously, you haven't had the best of weeks. Not just in FPL.
Well, in FPL, it's not been too bad, I'll have you know. I will come on to the free hit results in a minute. But otherwise, New York trip got called off, which was a big shame. But we meant on the plus side, I could watch way more football.
That is, every cloud has a silver lining, doesn't it? I'm sure your wife sees it that way as well.
When she saw the 2 North London games, I'm sure she did. And believe you me, we are going to talk about both of them because Arsenal said we are the biggest losers of the weekend. Then Spurs said, hold my beer. And it was incredible.
This weekend was a true North London bottle off. And it was fantastic to watch and follow. I just can't believe it. As a West Ham fan, it's been a fantastic weekend.
The Spurs game and the West Ham game were on at the same time. We were on WhatsApp saying, what a time to be a West Ham fan. I think your comment was, this is the best day of my life.
I think I would say apart from the wedding day, but I think including the wedding day, it was the best day of my life.
Including the wedding day. I'd forgot my trousers on your wedding day, and I certainly had them on here. So let's jump into FPL. You weren't on a free hit this week. I think you're happy there's a quick turnaround just so you can get on to the next one, right?
I had a good week.
Did you? Because you were upset halfway through. Oh, you had Isaac, didn't you?
I did have Isaac. So considering I wasn't free hitting, I got 66 points with a 4-point hit. So 62. 20 above the average. I will take that all day long, having not been on a free hit. Defense did nothing. Zinchenko was 0. Emerson didn't play, and Trippier, me, and Everson with 2 points apiece. But going forward, it was overall a success. My 2 Palace attackers, the only ones that didn't get any returns with Edouard and Elise, but Saka 13. Salah doubled up to 14 as my captain, Bowen 6, Martinelli 9, and Isaac 13. So, overall, for a non-free hitter on that game week, very happy. And a green arrow, which is the most important thing, I think. So, heading slowly towards that top 1 mil. If I can finish the season in the top 1 mil, God, could you imagine if I'd said that at the start of the season? I'll take it. I'll take it at this point. What about you? You were slightly better and you were free hitting. So how'd it go?
So I'm not sure whether this can be considered a successful free hit or not. It's fine. It will do. So 69 points. Nice indeed. I've got Johnston with 10 in goal. What a pick he was and what a great asset he was. Probably won't be looking to bring him in, being frank, because we don't know if that place is going to be his once their main goal, Guatia, comes back.
You're not Frank, you're Tom.
The silence is deafening. Do you hear the tumbleweed? Saka and Martinelli and Salah, everyone had them. My differentials that came in are I doubled up on the Palace defense with Anderson. He got 6, and I had Bowen in the middle as well. Annoyingly, in my bench, I had Nico Williams with 6 and Tony with 9. And if I could only start 2 defenders, I would have benched Semedo for Tony. It's just one of those things, and Watkins with 2 and Tony with 9 was just very typical of that game. I know we were speaking about it on the pod, I didn't go for Diogo Jota and Eze, and I wish I did, because Gakpo showing up with 1 point is just bloody annoying in a game where Liverpool scored 3.
That's one of those classic FPL 50-50s. It's a coin toss. one week it'll work out, the next week it won't.
Mm.
And the thing is, like with those Jota, Gakpo, I know that. Yeah, there is that rotation risk as well. So you never really know who's. I know they are probably the preferred three, but with the games coming thick and fast, Jota's still sort of on the comeback trail from injury. Gakpo probably was the safer pick, but these things come back to bite you in the arse sometimes, and it's just frustrating for you.
Yeah, and I guess there was also the fact that Gakpo as a midfielder gets an extra point for each goal scored. He gets the extra point for the clean sheets. I just figured there was probably slightly more upside. What I forgot.
You ever considering Liverpool getting a clean sheet? Fucking hell.
Yeah, I'm not moving on their defenders quite yet. I'll tell you that much, especially with the form that West Ham are in at the moment. But yeah, I guess I'm fine with it. What's really just irritating is that I moved Isaac out on my free hit because that Spurs Newcastle game, I didn't want to touch it with a barge pole. Beforehand, I couldn't call it. Fourth versus fifth. And then the game actually happened. I've got to say, I never considered Murphy on my free hit, so not bothered by that. But I'm blown away by what happened.
It was incredible. So I'm going to talk about sort of briefly about both North London teams here. So for both games, I missed. Well, I didn't miss, but so for the first 10 minutes or so of the Arsenal game, I was at the cinema on Friday, and I came out. And as I opened my phone, it was 1-0 because obviously it was in the first minute. And then I was walking to the car, got in the car, looked again, and just as the second goal went in, I was like, oh my God, what is happening here? And then similarly with the Spurs game yesterday, so I got out of the cinema, been cinema all the time this week. I got out at pretty much bang on 5-2, so just in time. Wife was driving, so I got the West Ham game up on my phone. Do not disturb, so I don't get anything coming through spoiling it. Get home, put the TV on for the West Ham game. I didn't put the TV on to watch the West Ham game because there was no way of watching it. And then I opened Twitter and WhatsApp, and everything was going off. I was like, what the hell is happening here? And yeah, 10 minutes in, Spurs are 3-0 down. And I just spent the next sort of 15 minutes laughing as it got worse and worse.
It was quite incredible, wasn't it? It's come out today that Ryan Mason has now taken over as interim. I can't wait for him to lose the next 3 games and then another interim to come and replace Ryan Mason.
So they've got, I'm going to say this is a caretaker manager to replace an interim manager who replaced someone that was already leaving at the end of the season anyway. Like, how far do these Russian dolls go, and what's the end point? It's got to be like, I'm pretty sure Harry Kane's got to manage them on the last game of the season. That's where this is going.
That is exactly where this is going.
And then he'll leave in the summer.
Oh, he's definitely going. Like, if you're Harry Kane, you're not staying, are you? United come in with a big offer. You have to push for a move.
I'm surprised he didn't hand in his transfer request at half time. Well, that seems as though that's what Hugo Lloris did.
Well, he might have done. You never know. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. But there's no way Harry Kane will actually leave because he's one of their own, Matt.
That is true. That is true. And the thing is, it's worth mentioning as well, as bad as Spurs were, and they were very bad, Newcastle tore them apart. Like, admittedly, Joelinton's goal was just a long ball over the top, but Willock's ball with the outside of his right foot through to Isak for the fourth was just sublime.
Yeah, it was beautiful, wasn't it? Sticking with Spurs because funny. I think there was a point where I was going to move a bit around to have Son on my free hits, just as a bit of a gamble, and you talked me out of it. But he looked absolutely dreadful. I don't think if you're coming into that Spurs team, I think you sell Heung-min Son straight away. I think Harry Kane probably goes. You probably sell him, but you also sell Heung-min Son. Buy new attackers to go into that team. Probably need a bunch of new midfielders as well. Højbjerg's a terrible footballer. Basuma hasn't worked out. Bentancur's good, but he's injured all the time. That needs a whole new midfield.
It feels like whoever comes in, it's going to need almost a full rebuild. They're currently at the point where Man U were 18 months ago, I think, where there is going to be a real need to sort of get rid of the deadwood. And you look at their defence at the moment. Romero is the best of a bad bunch, and he's a walking booking at the best of times. So he's always.
Though I really think Christian Romero is a really, really top class centre back. I think.
I think he is, but he's just got to work on that tendency to pick up stupid yellows and sometimes stupid reds as well, because that often leaves them sort of even further behind the 8 ball.
Eric Dyer, you'd say, has probably been a solid centre back for them this year. A fullback, Perisic, should know what he's doing, given the experience he has. And they also had Pedro Porro on the other side, who's come in really exciting. All the Spurs fans and you were really excited by him being signed. So I just think there was no excuse for that. Hugo Lloris has been dreadful. I was saying in our chat, we've been saying it for 6 years. He's been awful.
It's not 6 years.
It is. Come on.
It's not. Bearing in mind, and I know it's a different kettle of fish, but the last 2 World Cup finals he's won and been the runner-up. So the last, I'd say, 2 years he's been bad, with glimpses of what he once was. But the problem is they switched to a back 4, which with Porro and Perisic as your fullbacks isn't going to work because they want to push up, and that left space in behind, which we saw for Joelinton's goal, with just a long ball over the top. He ghosted off the back of Porro and behind the centre halves and took it round the keeper nicely and finished nicely. But yeah, I can't remember who it was writing about it, saying that no switch in formation can legislate for what happened in that game. It was just absolutely awful. So they have to come back now with Ryan Mason. They play on Thursday night, and they've got Man United, so it's out the frying pan into the fire.
Man United away as well, so they're going into Old Trafford.
No, it's at Spurs.
Oh, is that? Oh, is that?
Yeah.
I was about to say White Hart Lane then, but it's not White Hart Lane.
The new White Hart Lane. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Oh, what a noncy name. Let's talk about FPL then, because as much as we want to speak about Spurs and the fact that their entire football project over the last 10 years has been, let's get a good manager. Right?
No. A good stadium. They've got a really good stadium.
A star manager. That's been their whole football strategy.
And one of their own.
Mourinho's and Conte's, and they'll have one of their own there the whole time. We're lingering the point here. FPL, game week 33. It's coming up tomorrow now. We're recording Monday evening. It's coming Tuesday morning. So, who are the teams we want to be targeting? And what are your plans for transfers? What's your plan for 33?
It's really difficult at the moment because I think any transfers you have to make now are obviously more geared towards 34, unless you're like wild carding into a bench boost or something like that, which some people still have both. So fair enough. It is a difficult one because you've got to look ahead if you haven't got whatever, like a wild card or a free hit left. I know some people do have free. I think my brother, for example, is free hitting this weekend. So yeah, if people are doing that, then that's one thing. And the big one is Arsenal and City play each other this midweek, which obviously is a decider in the title race, but also in terms of FPL assets, I've currently got 2 City and 3 Arsenal, and that's a tricky situation to be in. And you feel like you can't bank on the Arsenal assets at the moment, especially against City now. So, and Arsenal don't double in 34. Their next 4 fixtures are City, Chelsea, Newcastle, and Brighton. So, are we moving off Arsenal?
Oh yeah, 100%. I've got Zinchenko, who is going to be my 3rd sub this week, and I'm going to be moving off him for 34 to free up funds. I think we're 100% moving away from Arsenal players right now.
Yeah, you can probably for these next 4 weeks, and then if you want to get anyone back in,
I will 100% be bringing Saka and probably Jesus and probably Martinelli back in for the last couple of games. 100%. But for now, yeah, I'm completely off them for the next 4.
It's hard to know as well because by those last 2 games, if the league's over, you don't know what they're going to be like. Forest away, Wolves at home, the last 2 games, 2 teams that might still have something to play for as well.
Yeah, you never know. And Forest could put a spirited performance in. But yeah, I think as far as game week 33 goes, I think your City assets are fine. They've got a really nice double in 34. Then they've got Leeds and Everton. then a nice-ish double in 37. Then the toughest game is Brentford away. Brentford, who are going to be on the beach at that point. So I think City, you hold for the rest of the season. I've currently got Stones, Haaland, and Grealish. So I'm going to be starting Stones and Haaland at least this week. What are your thoughts at the moment for your squad and transfers? Do you have anything lined up, given the City and Arsenal assets you've got?
I'm thinking I'm going to hold my transfer for 33, which I don't love because I don't love my squad. The only thing I could do is maybe move off one of the Arsenal assets now for someone that's got a more favourable fixture. So I could take Zinchenko out for someone that's got a good fixture and then a double. So, I mean, I would say a Liverpool defender, but that's a bad idea. So maybe I bring in like an Estupinian or someone like that. But the thing with Brighton as well this week, I know they've not got the toughest fixture, but 120 minutes at Wembley on Sunday and the disappointment of losing out on penalties, it's going to be hard for them to bounce back.
Agreed, but if there's a fixture that they're going to bounce back in and going to get angry at, it's Nottingham Forest, who themselves are probably quite deflated after playing really well at Anfield, that they should have got something out of it realistically. We'll get to that in a minute, but I think Brighton are a great option. I also do think that Kelechi Iheanacho could be an option. He's on penalties. Leicester have got something to play for. The next games are Leeds, Everton, and Fulham. Kelechi Iheanacho on FPL.
I just don't think you can bring anyone in at the moment that's not doubling.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like anything like that is a sideways move at best. So any transfers you're making this week or into 34 has to be for someone that doubles in 34.
Can't I tempt you?
No, you can't. I know you can tempt yourself because it's Iheanacho. You'll do anything to get him in.
So I do think Brighton are the way forward. They've got 3 doubles between now and the end of the season in 34, 36, and 37. And yes, that 36 double is a really, really tough one, but it's still a double game week. So you still want 3 of them in. So I think getting Brighton early is a really good option.
That is mad. 3 doubles in such a short time span, isn't it?
Would you be looking at Mitoma for one of the Arsenal boys?
Yeah, that's one I'm thinking about as well. But so maybe Saka out. I do want to look at getting Rashford back in as well. Yeah. So it could even be like a -4 going into the double. I feel like
I would hold off on getting Rashford back in on the basis of he's just played 120 minutes when he's just come back from injury. See how he looks against Tottenham would be my thinking, because you can always wait a week. And Tottenham away, as much as we laugh at them, they're going to bounce back somehow, aren't they? So
yeah, they're getting a new manager bounce.
They might lose 7-1 instead of 6-1.
Rashford. I won't be getting Rashford in this week. He's more looking towards the weekend, going into the double, because it's not the best double in the world with Villa and Brighton, but it's a double, and Rashford is just. I know he's coming back from injury, but he's the man in form for United. It just feels like if they're going to make things happen, they've got to go through him. Yeah,
I agree. My thought process at the moment for my team. So just to read off what my team is looking like for this week, it's Neto in goal, then Stones, Trippier, and Estupinian at the back. Then McAllister and Mitoma, Fernandez and Maddison across the middle. Then Kane, Haaland and Isak up front. My thought process is... Grealish first sub, by the way. So I think I'm going to hold my transfer to roll it. So I've got 2 next week. And my initial thinking is with those 2 transfers, take Maddison and Kane to Salah plus a striker. And I'm not sure who that striker should be yet.
Iheanacho.
He's on the table. Iheanacho is on the table. Because if you look at the teams at double, none of them really have a striker. It's Man U. I'm not getting Martial or Weghorst. Don't say it. I'm not going to get that cost. With Man City, I'll already have 3 players, and Haaland's there. Brighton, I'll already have 3 players.
Mikel Antonio.
He's on the table.
Mikel Antonio.
Is he starting every game at the moment?
He has been. Yeah, he started in Europe. He started in the league, scored in both. Yeah, and he's playing better than he's played in all season. He's in.
I'm going to see how he looks on Wednesday, but he's definitely an option because they've got the double in 34. Then, admittedly, they don't double in 37, but I can just bench him for that. So, yeah, Antonio is on the table for me as a striking option. I'm also debating whether to take another -4 and move Bruno down to Rashford. Will Rashford over 2 games get 5 or more points than Bruno?
Probably, especially seeing as Fernandes went off injured on Sunday as well. So there is the possibility. I think the rumour are he might miss Thursday, but will probably be okay for the weekend. So
yeah, he's not flagged or anything on FPL at the moment for Thursday. So I think he'll probably be okay. And Fernandes does play all the time. He's been points dodging like no tomorrow. I feel like a haul is coming. He's on penalties. Like, surely now Casemiro's back as well. Surely there is a haul coming. I feel like I've had the faith this long. I may just go without Rashford. The other crazy alternatives are to go without Salah for the double in 34, to take Maddison to Rashford, then take McAllister to Gakpo.
You're so making this up on the spot.
And then take Iverson to Steele, because then I would have a doubling goalkeeper as well.
The only thing with Steele at the moment is I don't know if he's going to play because Sanchez had a good game on Sunday, did keep a clean sheet. So yeah, that is a tricky one.
I agree. So it's a bit.
I feel like there is no way you're going into this double without Mo Salah. Like, you of all people are not going into this without Mo Salah.
I could do it.
You could, but you're not going to. You could bring in Wout Weghorst, but you're not going to.
It's on the table. It's actually, a lot of it depends on McAllister, because if he's playing as a more central defensive midfielder, I'm not really interested. But if Veltman is back, which he came on, so he is. If Veltman's back, it means Gross comes into that CDM spot, which means McAllister goes further forward. And that means that McAllister's a much, much better option. So I'll be very, very closely watching the Brighton game on Wednesday just to see how they line up, because I think a lot could depend on McAllister. I'm not opposed to moving Trippier out, but I'm not going to do it before 34. Like, Trippier and Isak are in my team. They're going to be on my team for the bench boost. That's absolutely happening. So I don't know what I'm talking about there.
Yeah, and it is a shame that Newcastle don't double in 34, because the one game they have got is Southampton at home, which is a good fixture, and they double in 36 with Leeds away and Brighton at home, which isn't a bad double as well. So
very good double, actually, considering games Brighton are playing.
Yeah, so it's that's a good one to keep an eye on. Like Isak, he's not going anywhere at the moment, is he? He is in some serious form. And although they haven't kept a clean sheet in a while, you feel like these next 2 games are games where they definitely can do. So, I mean, they only really conceded the obligatory Kane goal at the weekend, didn't they? Because Kane has to score. But, I mean, Everton aren't exactly free-flowing, and Southampton are Southampton. So you feel like a Trippier haul is incoming. He's overdue.
Yeah, I'm almost certainly going to be holding my transfer this week. I did toy around with it, but actually, by holding, I'll give myself more options for the weekend, more options for 34. So that's my thinking at the moment with it. I do want to make the argument for the next 3 games. If you want to be different or you want to be bold, and you've got Haaland up top, you could do much worse than bringing in Solanke and Iheanacho. 2 cheap striking options, both under 6 million, could both be really, really good differentials, as could Antonio, actually, who is on the table, annoyingly for me. Yeah, you know what? That's probably what I do.
Oh, I've convinced him.
What I do. Depending on how the Liverpool game goes, obviously. Because if Danny Ings starts, then no, it's not on. But if Antonio's starting and he looks strong, then why not? Let's give him a go. He could get something in the Palace game. He'll be on my bench after that anyway. So, yeah, why not?
I mean, like I say, he's looking a lot better at the moment. He's sort of running those channels like he used to before and starting to bully defenders a little bit. So I'm just, a naive West Ham fan who's convinced that the good times are back after a few good results.
Spurs got battered. I did enjoy as well the West Ham fans singing Tottenham Get Battered at their game.
Yeah, it was great. I think they were having a very good time down on the South Coast. But yeah, I mean, Antonio, in terms of form, just going to find out exactly where he's been recently. But he scored. Yeah, he scored on Sunday. Scored against Ghent on Thursday as well. So that's 2-2, and then prior to that, no, he's been scored. Most of his goals have been in Europe, but yeah, 3-3. 3-4. Sorry, he scored in both ties against Ghent, and
he's worth a punt, isn't he? Because I'll take him out or just have him on the bench for the rest of the season after that. Except for that Leeds game in 37, actually, I'll play him then. But yeah, I think he's just a bit of a let's have some fun pick. So why not?
Yeah, I feel like I should have got points for Cresswell's. He got 12 at the weekend, and I've got Emerson, so it just feels like I should have got those 12 points.
Yeah, so talk me through that with West Ham at the moment. Why is Cresswell playing again? Like, is that a thing now? Is that happening?
I think it's entirely fixture dependent. So Bournemouth, he played a back four, which he tends to suit Cresswell playing as the left back over Emerson because he's more of a wing back than a full back. It wouldn't surprise me if on Wednesday against Liverpool we revert to a back five, and you probably see Cresswell could play left of the back of the three, but you'll see Emerson start in that, I would imagine, if we go to a back five, because he's likely to be a little bit more cautious against Liverpool. But yeah, it's a timing thing, really. We decided to switch to a back four, which gives us a little bit more going forward, which has obviously worked. And we kept a clean sheet, which is unheard of.
I mean, quite a few in a row now. I think in the last 5 games in the Premier League, West Ham have got 4 clean sheets.
3, and then where was one in the double?
Yeah, so one in the double. So let's have a look, actually. Fixtures, West Ham. So a clean sheet against Bournemouth. Then before that, it was a 2-2 with Arsenal. Then before that, it was a clean sheet against Fulham when you beat them 1-0. Before that, it was a clean sheet against Southampton when you beat them 1-0. And before that, I have to go back 2 game weeks. It was 1-1 with Aston Villa. So 3 in the last 4.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Not bad at all. Like, is there anyone defensively we should be looking at? Maybe Kurt Zouma?
I'd say Zuma's the most. Zouma and Aguerd, probably the 2 that will start pretty much every game. It seems as though he's reverted back to Soufal at right back. Again, he picked up an assist. Both of West Ham's fullbacks picked up assists. So, yeah, it's like I say, it's hard to know how he's going to line up against Liverpool, though. But again, I'd probably not against Liverpool. Like, we're not going to keep a clean sheet against Liverpool. And then Palace and City in the double. We might keep a clean sheet against Palace, but we certainly aren't keeping a clean sheet against City.
Well, let's talk about Liverpool then for a moment. Trent with 4 assists in 3 games in this new position. However, still leaving a lot to be desired defensively. I'm wanting to wait before I look at even going near the Liverpool defence on the basis of I don't expect us to keep a clean sheet against West Ham. That's got a 1-1 or a 2-2 written all over it, Liverpool West Ham this game. Both teams in form, both teams doing well going forward. I think this has got 2-2 written all over it. So I'm actually going to be waiting to see how we perform, see how Liverpool perform. So just before I even think about moving to get a 7 million defender in Trent or Robertson or Van Dijk.
I think if you're going to go with any of them, it's Trent's the only option because, like you say, you're not keeping clean sheets at the moment.
We had this discussion. I do think Van Dijk has a headed goal in him very soon. Like he's come very close in the last 2 games several times. I think he's got a goal in him in the next 3 games. West Ham, Tottenham, and Fulham. Van Dijk scores a goal.
That's a big shout. If it'll be against any of them, I think it'll be against Spurs. I think West Ham and Fulham are better set piece defensively as a unit than Spurs. But I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Don't get me wrong. West Ham went on some ridiculous run early, like at the start of this season without conceding a goal from a corner. It was like over 100 corners before we conceded a goal from a corner, which is quite impressive. But I don't know, like. We're still like you can't be banking on headed goals from centre halves. If that's what you're banking on, then you are playing the wrong game.
I'm sorry. Do you not remember Lundstrom?
Yeah, but he wasn't playing as a centre half. He was
a centre half on FPL. He was our hero.
He was like an 8. Right. Shut up. But yeah, Trent's your only option because, like you say, he's playing in this new role where he's coming in as an inverted fullback and coming inside and making those runs, and he's getting those assists even when he punches a ball like he did against Leeds. But yeah, no, he's your only option. But I don't think it's worth investing 7 million in him.
I actually agree, but let's see how he plays against West Ham. I think it's worth holding out and seeing. Worth noting as well that they double in 34, but Liverpool don't double in 37 either, whereas both Man City and Man United do. So this is the last double game week for Liverpool coming up in 34.
That United double in 37 is nice. Bournemouth and Chelsea.
Oh yeah, that's lovely, isn't it? Chelsea under Frank Lampard are an absolute basket case. I mean,
what a double they have in 37, by the way. City and United both away. They'll just be staying in Manchester with their arse being red raw from the spankings they're going to get.
You know what? I fully expect them to play really, really well against Man City and then get spanked by Man United.
And still get no points.
Oh, yeah, they'll get 0 points regardless. Is Lampard going to get a win this season?
Yeah, he will. They've got Bournemouth away and Forest at home.
Imagine they don't get a win from Bournemouth and Forest. If they just draw both of those games.
Imagine they somehow beat Newcastle the last game of the season and Newcastle don't get top 4 because of it.
Oh, that would be so brutal and so cruel, but so deserved for Saudi money. But yeah. Newcastle are still in I don't think of them as like the new Man City. They're still in that kind of fun phase of like Man City by Robinho. And
that is exactly what came to my mind as well. That was classic.
They're still in that, this is quite fun. We're going to enjoy watching them. It'll become really stale and shit in a few years' time. But for now, it's good.
I reckon give it next season. And they'll still be that, but it'll start to sort of sour. But by sort of 24-25 season, that's when everyone will hate them.
Yeah, totally agree. Oh, brilliant. Well, some fascinating midweek fixtures. We'll try and get this podcast uploaded ASAP so you guys have at least a few hours to listen to it before the deadline. Come and chat to us on Twitter. We'll be back again later this week on around Thursday, halfway through this game week, just to look at what our bench boosts are looking like for 34. You can find us. Actually, before I wrap up, Matt, how are you lining up for this week? What are you thinking?
Currently, the lineup is still in goal. Trippier, Ake, and me as a back 3. Salah, Bowen, Martinelli, and Elise. And then Haaland as the captain with Isak and Edouard up front. One of my Palace players has got to return. Surely. Why didn't I just bank on their defence. After all I said on that pod a couple of weeks ago about you're going to go for their attacking assets and not their defensive assets, they just won't concede a fucking goal.
At least you put your money where your mouth is.
I did.
I'll give you that. You put your money where your mouth is. You took the gamble. It didn't pay off, but that's basically the summary of this season.
They've reverted. They've gone from exciting Palace to classic Roy Hodgson Palace.
As I said, they would, right?
Yeah. So yeah, you can take the owl out of the man, but you can't. I don't know. But yeah, so that's how I'm lining up as things stand, and I'm thinking it's probably going to stay that way. I can't see myself making a transfer. And then I'll give myself more room to play with going into 34, potentially even like a -8, because why not? What about you?
Would you consider an alternative captain this week?
I'm trying to think who you're going to say. Ben Mee.
Isaac.
I would. I genuinely would consider it, but...
You are in a unique position where you're just kind of in YOLO mode.
No, but I'm not, because in my Curry league, I'm dangerously close to the Curry zone.
Right. Okay.
And I don't want to be paying for that end-of-season Curry.
Oh, God, how embarrassing. You do a fantasy football podcast and you're coming near the bottom of the Curry league. Yeah. Jesus Christ. No, we need to get you out of that. Right. Do you want me to take over your FPL team and your decisions from now on?
I think this Curry league, the standard is very high. So...
Do you want me to seriously? I feel like I need to step in here for you. Just copy my team, copy my moves. It's clearly working better this season than yours. I'm currently about 350-ish, so I've jumped up on the ranks as well. I'm looking to get top 100k. But yeah, how's your Curry league looking?
I'm like 70 points clear of the Curry zone.
Oh, you're fine then.
So I should be okay. Well. But I don't want to go too. The guy below me, who's actually only about 6 points below me, he's still got a wild card, triple captain, and bench boost.
Oh, bloody hell.
So, and a couple of people below me have still got like bench boost or triple captain or a wild card. So like there's people that have still got, don't get me wrong, as you get further down, people have still got, like they've used most of their stuff. But like the guy who's 16th out of 17 has only used a free hit and a wild card. But he didn't even use his wild card in the first half of the season. So his wild card was in 29.
God's sake. Casuals, filthy casuals.
The thing is, though, if people have got that triple captaincy going into 34 of Haaland, that can be big.
That could really, really... Well, I was looking at that. Haaland in 34, but also 37, Marcus Rashford or Bruno Fernandes could be...
Not Bruno, Tom. Stop saying it. Stop trying to convince yourself. You did this a couple of weeks ago. You're saying, now that Rashford's out, Bruno's got a haul. No, Tom, that's not how it works.
I still have faith. He needs to come good, right? He's got to come good. It's like, as soon as I moved... I had faith with Darwin for so long. As soon as I moved him out, bang, 2 goals and an assist. Like, I need to just keep the faith with Bruno. So maybe I captain Bruno in 34. No, I don't do that. That's ridiculous. Maybe versus Tottenham, that could be it. I think Haaland is the captain choice, right? Arsenal are conceding goals. He's going up against Rob Holding. I mean, come on. Haaland is the captain choice.
I'm just looking at one of my mates' teams and, oh my God, how is he above me? Yeah, this is just awful. Apparently he said it was good until he wildcarded and then it just went shit. I'm like, he's got Mings and Konza in defence.
Mings has been really good.
You're true, but he's got Somerville. This one paid off this week. He's got Gibbs White.
What?
And he got 12 this week. Thiago.
This is someone you're losing to.
Chilwell and James. And Bruno. And then his front three, which we will all return this week, is Kane, Tony, and Iheanacho.
I told you, Iheanacho, he's the future. The next 3 games, Iheanacho is going to go off, and I'm calling it. Right, guys, that is all we've got time for.
I'm going to go and slit my wrists.
Playing at, you can find us on Twitter at Big at the Back.
Tom is at Tom Madden 92. I am at Higgins 92. I won't be active on Twitter anymore because I'm going to go and kill myself. Tiago 00111.
He's only just come back from a long-term injury as well.
Of all the players, I mean, he's only played this week because he didn't have. Yeah, he's not. He must be bench fodder, but still, it makes me want to cry.
I mean, brilliant. Well, on that cheery note, we're off. We'll be back with another podcast on Thursday-ish before the new game week starts. They are turning around very, very quickly. Get your transfers in now. Why wait and why risk it? Because the deadline is on Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Otherwise, good luck, and we'll speak to you in a few days.